What's up, guys? I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, but the bulk is finally over. I know, it's crazy, resurrecting Hercules, what is gonna happen with it? But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to show you guys what the differences are before I started this bulk compared to now in terms of measurements and like my inches and circumference of the muscles that I've been working, as well as what I think I've been able to improve on and what I still think I need to improve on at this point. Anyways, we're just gonna jump right into it. I hope you guys enjoy this. So this is something I've forgotten to do in other Hercules episodes before, or seasons I guess, and I'm going to measure most of the muscles on my body. That looks like 16.
We're at 48.
Cover nipple, please. Thank you.
41.
So waist,
Yeah.
let's do right over the navel.
Yeah.
That way we have a perfect example. Thanks.
Make it an appearance.
We're at 22 inches?
Yeah.
15.
So those are my measurements. I'm sure I'll keep track of those and then we'll keep measuring. We'll probably just measure at the end, to be honest. I'm not a good measurer.
Yeah, I know.
All right, it's been a while since we've measured. We're in a very echoey room, but got the tape, let's do this.
So how do you want to?
I'm not sure how we should do this.
Oh, it's on both sides. Okay. Damn, son.
You can see it's like just at one tick over 17 and a half. I would say this is pretty accurate. This is on the biggest part of my shoulder. It's hard to do this measurement, but this is around the shoulders. We are at 2 ticks under 52. This one is probably the easiest one because it's right over the nip.
Right over the nip. 46.
46?
Yeah.
And the belly button? The belly button is just about 34, like just over 34, under, depends if I suck or push or whatever. So it's just a little over 43, 34. 34. All right, so now we gotta do glute. Glute is the biggest part of the glute. This is where I'm trying to measure. So the glutes are coming in just about 41, give or take a little bit. And then we do quad.
I think so.
So quads are looking like they're 25 and a half. And so the calves are coming in just past 16, a couple ticks past 16. And so here's the measurements from before and after the bulk. So the size gained is freaking great. I've definitely increased my strength quite a bit as well, but what I'm most stoked for is the improvements in my posture and my movements, my ability to do different exercises. Because you can see here I've gained mass. You can see my shoulders are way more externally rotated than when I was at rest when I first started this bulk. So you can see on the left there, my shoulders are uneven and rotated inwards, and now they're a lot more externally rotated, which is great, makes my chest look a lot better, but it also makes it so that I'm able to do a lot more exercises. Right here you see I'm demonstrating the difference in my posture from before and a little bit exaggerated, but then after. So you can see my shoulders were sloping forward, I was really rounded, and now that I've pulled them back, externally rotated my shoulders a bit, it's helped me remove the impingement I was feeling that was keeping me from benching and doing overhead movements for about 2 years before this. Also, it instantly makes your physique look better. You see that? I've been able to regain a lot of exercises that I haven't been able to do for so long because of my scoliosis and my shoulder impingement. One of them being squatting again and figuring out movement patterns to protect my back while doing squats and deads. So I slowly worked up from doing 25 pounds on the bar to doing 135, 185, and now I'm doing 185 to 225 pound squats, which to me is insane because I've totally wrote them off for the rest of my life. I didn't plan on ever being able to do these again. I'm also able to do deadlifts. I'm able to bench again. My bench is at 185 and I'm working that up to 225, trying to get the stabilization muscles to be, properly ready for that kind of weight. But it is so freaking cool to gain back these movement patterns that I thought and had written off for the rest of my life. All right, so I want to show you guys what my plan is here with this cut. One time I saw Matt Ogus write down his whole plan for cutting before he actually went into it so that people had a better idea what was going on, because sometimes when you're in the middle of watching the videos, you can't really tell what the overall plan is. So this is the overall plan. Oh, I can just see the comments coming in already. Your writing is terrible. The writing is not the main point of this. So I'm gonna be dieting for 4 weeks. I'm gonna do 4 weeks and then I'm gonna come right back into a bulk. This is really just to clean up the fat, take off a couple percent before going back into bulking. So right now my TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure, is around 3,620 calories. This is the amount of calories that if I ate that much, I wouldn't gain or lose any pounds. So if you were gonna set up your own cut, you would wanna go Google search TDEE calculator, punch in your stats, and then you're gonna get a rough guesstimate number of this, and then this is where you can start from. Okay, so week 1 through 4, I'm gonna show you guys the macros that I'm gonna work with. I'm gonna show you the calories, and I'm gonna also show you the cardio manipulations. So just for the first week here, I'll show you my actual percentages, and I'll also show you the grams. So week 1, we're gonna go carbs 60%, protein 15%, and fat 25%. That leaves us with 488 grams of carbs, 122 grams of protein, and 90 grams of fat. So a little bit high on the fat, but this is going to be our pool that we pull from that allows us to keep our carbs and protein high while we're moving down in calories. The idea with protein is that I really only need, I'd say 110-ish grams or so. So I'm gonna aim for 122, give or take a little bit. If I go a little bit above or below, just depends on what I'm eating that day, that's totally fine. A little fluctuation is totally fine with all this stuff, but usually with me, I put my fats a little bit higher and then I fluctuate into these two and take away from this. Even if this is the targets, I never really stress too much about going a little bit lower than my fat goals and going higher on the carb and protein goals. So now with the calories here, you see my TDEE was 3,620. I'm gonna start my first week in a deficit of around 400 calories. Now the reason I'm not going a severe deficit here is because I wanna see if after 1 week of eating this many calories every day, if my weight drops by a ½ pound to a pound. We also have to factor in the fact that the first week I will lose a bunch of glycogen and water weight, so that makes it a little bit tougher to kind of see the weight difference here, especially in fat loss. That's why on the second week, we're gonna drop another 150. So not too dramatic, still really high in the calories, but we are gonna be doing cardio. And remember, the TDE is really, really high. So this is definitely still in a deficit. And these numbers will be able to adjust if I can't lose ½ pound to a pound a week. If I'm not losing ½ pound to a pound a week, I will decrease this even more until I am reaching those numbers per week. Now, explaining the way that the macros move, as you go from week 1, 2, 3, and 4, you'll see that the carbs go a little bit up and then down. You see that the protein goes up, 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 and then you see that the fat gets taken down. Again, the idea here is that you really can't overdo carbs. So anytime I go over on carbs, that's completely fine. I do want to keep my protein relatively high, and because I'm in a deficit, I'm eating a little bit less calories. I want to keep it a little bit higher because protein keeps me satiated, so it keeps me fuller. So as these calories move down, the actual amount of grams of protein and carbs and fat, but specifically protein that I'm getting in, goes down exponentially with each of these bumps. So then I just move the percent up slightly as we go to keep that number high. Throughout all of these weeks, my protein will never drop below 110 grams. And again, these are my targets, but I will be up or down about 1% or 2% on each one. The reason that the calories only move a couple hundred every single week is because we don't want to deficit too fast. We don't want to lose a ton of actual muscle. We just want to kind of clean up and stuff. Now, if this isn't a fast enough progression, we can always increase the deficits and we will be able to move faster with our weight loss. But again, slow pace is the best pace, especially if you're trying to preserve muscle mass. Now with cardio, I think it is extremely important. I absolutely think that you should be using it if you are going to be doing a deficit and you're going to be trying to lose fat. I keep my cardio pretty simple. As I move each week, I like to add in 5 minutes just to keep the body moving towards something and not getting too adjusted to one type. I also don't really like to move past 25 if I was going to be doing this for longer. I like to keep somewhere around 25, 30 and not go too far into the cardio because it really can take a lot of your muscle mass away and a lot of your calories if you're not replenishing it too well. Now, all my targets for cardio, I am going to be doing on the Stairmaster because the Stairmaster for me is the most effective machine, but I am going to be trying to vary my cutting, my dieting this time and do different types of cardios, do different types of plyometrics. So a lot of this might be out in the field, and if it's out in the field or if I'm on a bike or any sort of a different type of thing, then these numbers will be arbitrary and won't matter. I'll just do it for longer than this. But if I'm going to be doing steady state cardio, this is what I'm going to be sticking to 5 times a week, and it moves up 5 minutes each week until I'm at 25 minutes. So there's the plan. I wanted to write it out so that you guys can see, and if you want to come back, you can come back to this video, see what exactly I am doing. You can also kind of model this after my plan here if you want to, and you can kind of just use these ranges and then adjust as you go, using a couple 100 calories deficit each week and also increasing your cardio by 5 minutes or so each week. Now you might be wondering what's going to happen with my weight training. My weight training is going to stay similar to the same, but I will update you guys with that actually in the episodes because it is going to vary a slight bit, but I'm not exactly sure yet. So that, my friends, is it. We've made tons of progress. I am so happy with what's happened in this 2 years because I've been able to gain a lot of muscle mass and size and stuff, but more importantly to me is regaining the ability to do those movements, because as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that doing the movement of doing something overhead or being able to push something off your body, it translates not only through bodybuilding, not only through having big muscles and stuff, but man, if I can't reach above my shoulder, then I won't be able to grab things off a shelf eventually. I'm gonna start having all these issues and stuff. So for me, it's been great because I've been able to see my bodybuilding come back. One of my biggest passions in the world. I've been able to really feel my muscles and just get back into the same mindset I used to be in all those years ago when I had no issues at all. So that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys showing love, coming in and supporting my journey. I really can't wait to put out week 1 of the dieting series. So stay tuned for that next week. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Check out my second channel if you haven't checked it out already, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die MIRIN, motherfucker. Team Beyond the Week, CT. Lift heavy